Welcome back to Teaching Elixir, where I try to teach my friend, who we are calling Andreas, because that's his name, how to do some Elixir. And this time, so we're using the Elixir School curriculum, and this time we're covering the pipe operator. This should be a short one, unless we make it very long. Hey, Andreas.
Hello. We're usually quite good at making the long ones short and the short ones long.
Yeah, because we have a 30-minute recording slot, and I guess we try to adapt to it.
Yes.
We don't have to. All right, pipe operator. So this is a pipe and a greater than, not. So it can be a little bit unclear in these first examples. At least I'm getting a font with ligatures.
Same here.
Yeah. But if you edit this, if you click the edit button, it stops being ligatures.
Huh.
So the pipe operator will take the output of a function and pass it in as the first argument of the next function.
The first argument. That's interesting. Yes.
Yeah, I know that in Elm, for example, this exact same operator puts it at the end.
Yeah.
Is there something similar in Haskell?
Yeah, it works exactly like an Elm. Because
is it the same shape of, or does it look different?
It looks different. In Haskell, it's a, let's see, I think it's an ampersand.
Huh. I guess that sort of makes sense.
Or many greater than signs.
No. So I think we've already used the pipe operator quite a few times going through other things. But let's see what the examples are here.
Okay,
so
I'm going to tokenize a string.
Yeah, tokenize it. So we split it by white space. So string split by default splits everything by white space. It takes a string as its first argument. I think I prefer this whole... Yes, you can split it by other things. That's true. I do find I prefer this way rather than the Elm way, and I think that's mostly by habit, but it also means that the first argument is sort of your anchor point. Like if you're dealing with the enum module, you don't have to wonder what it takes as the first argument.
Yeah.
It takes an enum. The string module takes a string, and that's typically how all of it works. Like if you're dealing with the Ecto database library, it will usually take your schema as the first thing.
Yeah.
So the most required thing first, essentially, especially as there is the option of starting to pass sort of optional arguments or option arguments, like the keywords we've seen previously.
Okay, so let me do some equational reasoning, as they say. You'll have to fix the parentheses because so yeah. Oh, why did they do that? Okay. Why did it do that?
So it gets a list. Do IO inspect instead, and you'll get more of what you expect.
So so puts takes a list. Okay.
Puts can take a list, and I believe that's related to IO lists, which is where you use lists and even improper lists for quick binary output.
Yeah. So so these two are the same. That's very good. I guess we could do. You said we had lots of time so I can fool around a lot. No. Do I
Cannot
need more
invoke remote
parentheses?
function string. What is it?
Maybe more equals. Oops.
Inside.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we cannot pattern match on a function on the left-hand side for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Okay, so now I've been fooling around with this
Yeah.
for a while, and I'm quite happy.
I'm glad you
Control-
explored the space.
Yeah, Control C
Yeah.
doesn't do what I wanted to. So there you go.
But yeah, one example for where this this is used. So I know in Elm you can do debug.log, and
Yep.
that takes a label as the first element and takes whatever you want to log as the second and returns the second element as well.
Yep.
And io.inspect takes it as the first, and then you can pass an optional label foo,
Yeah.
which is pretty convenient.
Oh, cool.
But this means you can shove an inspect and do your debug printing in the middle of a pipeline.
That's very good.
Very often these pipelines are new line separated. They are not in this case. So in this case, they are also upcasing the tokens.
Yep.
Cool. Check ending. So yeah, so this is uppercase all the tokens, 2 pipes after one another, check ending, and this is a pipe with passing in as well as passing another value into it. So
Cool. So okay, I'm gonna do some silly things here. So is that the function?
oh, you're up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's filter. Yeah.
Yeah, and how do I write an anonymous function? Something fn?
You can do fn or you can do an ampersand.
Oh, cool. Okay, we're gonna do the ampersand because that's. And now, if I want to, okay, so I want to do that, and sorry, like that, and I believe this won't work at all. So how do I make this work?
So add an ampersand.
Yep.
Throw a space in there.
Yep.
And this will not do what you might expect, or that depends on what you expect.
Hang
But
on. Like this. Like this.
yeah, that might work. No, wait, hold on. Anonymous function. Let's see. And you actually want to pass this string. One thing there and with, and you actually need to tell it to pass the argument in.
Huh.
So whatever the filter is getting for each item is your and one.
Cool. I think it's slightly more elegant in Elm and Haskell, but whatever.
I refuse to believe that. No, that's probably quite possible.
Yep.
So I don't typically like writing ampersand in lines like that. What I typically do is so I typically go do this and actually just because I like it explicitly and I find it more readable.
Yeah, it's also very much longer.
I'd also do a lot more new lines. Yeah, being longer in this case for me is usually a help, not a hindrance. Because it reduces the density of what I have to parse. And it gives more visual separation. It's like having white space in a design. Sometimes that's very good.
I work the opposite way.
Yeah, you like density.
Yep. So that's good. In the next episode, Lars and Andreas will duel with swords about density.
Unlikely, but maybe when the pandemic has let up a little bit.
Bonus episode.
Yeah. All right. So then we check the ending, and then we have this best practices part where it says that parentheses are required when piping into a function call, for example, booba booba dooba. And this was something I had a heck of a problem with in Elm. Just the number of parentheses I needed to add it in weird places.
Yep.
Because the operator precedence is absolutely not clear to me.
Yeah.
When piping in that language. And I definitely seen some pipes and then tried to do the same thing and gotten different results.
Yep. So just add more parentheses.
Yeah. No, but I think so. Overall, I feel like there's been a move away from skipping the parentheses in Elixir.
Yep.
It's still allowed for single arguments. I think it's allowed in a few other. I think it's doable in other cases too, especially macros. But
Yeah.
I think Credo, for example, complains about it. I wouldn't swear to it, but I know there are cases when it's definitely not encouraged.
Huh. Just to make it all much easier.
Yeah, I think it's so it makes it nice when you're trying to write a DSL.
Yeah.
But it also means that there are two visually distinct ways of calling a function.
Yep.
Which I don't love.
Nah, it's then you have to think instead of just use the chunking parts of the brain.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are pipes. I know that there are people who have opinions about sort of how the pipes work in Elixir and that they aren't sort of the ideal perfect construct for what they're doing. I think it has to do with pipelines and sort of lazy evaluation and stuff that make people not feel like they're all they could be. For me, they do exactly what I need them to, which is make certain operations a lot cleaner to read.
They're function composition, and I think languages need such an operator, and then you can of course add more operators.
Yeah, there are two recent additions to piping in Elixir. Let's see. I'm going to have to look these up because I haven't used them in Anger yet. But there's tap and then, which are meant for when you have a pipeline. Let's see if I can just add something here at the bottom. I want some more Elixir. So yeah, let's grab an example of tap from the release notes. So tap passes the given argument to an anonymous function, returning the argument itself, while then passes the given argument to an anonymous function, returning the result. So tap is just when you want to like side effect something inside a pipeline, which would have been less convenient to do before because you would have to use a parentheses fn kind of thing. And if we switch this to then, we would have a problem because it actually takes the output. Oh, right. Then was already in the example at the second line. Yeah, so that's interesting, and I look forward to trying out how to use them responsibly.
Yeah. So let's see. Scan. It seems to. Does it return a list of matches?
Don't actually know.
let's see if this function exists. No, boring. Okay. I want to have something that can fail. I want to have something that fails.
Oh yeah, failure in pipes is not sort of the most graceful process.
But then, shouldn't that handle the failure?
You could handle the failure in then.
Okay, so-
Remember, this is not some results thing.
No. What did then do?
So then takes the arguments that's being piped in
Yeah.
and calls a function on it and returns
Yep.
the result.
Oh. Okay.
So it's mostly solving the problem where you might have a function that you want to call in a pipeline that does not exactly line up with how the pipeline is structured or doesn't have the arguments in the right order for a pipeline. For example,
got
regex
it.
scan in this case takes the arg at the end.
Yeah. Okay. I thought then was like the bind operator in Haskell or like and then in Rust. So that's why I got confused.
Okay, yeah, no. No. And typically if you're doing operations in a pipeline that would fail, odds are you probably want to use with instead. So with multiple stages.
Okay.
Because then you're always matching on, am I getting a good output? Am I getting a good output? Am I getting a good output?
Yeah.
And you can handle the else case.
Yeah.
So what the pipelines typically work best for is a series of operations that are very, very much expected to succeed or blow up.
Yeah. And then we handle the blow up part outside of the pipeline.
Yeah, essentially.
Got it.
Okay, cool. I think we've covered the pipe operator. Or do you have any additional questions around this?
Nah, I'm cool.
Sweet. That'll be it then. Thanks for watching.